Morrow wide open from the far side. The long pass to Davila, opening him up for three, and he drains it.
Great hustle by Mike Traficante. Cosquet drives inside now, and he gets the bucket. Rejected by Alex Nasik. He covered a lot of ground to make that play.
Rejected by Caden Kelly on the defensive end.
And now here's Tamani for three, and he knocks it down. Great ball movement there. Arcudi will toss it up from long range, and there it is. Back-to-back three-point shots. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside Nashoba Regional High School in Bolton, Massachusetts, as Milford TV is once again happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Tim Coet on the call. We get set to bring you quarterfinal action in the MIAA playoff tournament for boys basketball, the Division II Central bracket, and it is your number 9 seeded Milford Scarlet Hawks getting set to take on the number 1 seed Nashoba Chieftains. We are once again on the road as we continue to follow this Scarlet Hawks boys basketball team through their postseason run. Milford, of course, earned their way into this quarterfinal matchup by virtue of a 78-73 overtime victory against Marlboro earlier this week. It's hard to forget the details of that game. Marlboro controlled play for 3 quarters, carrying a 12-point lead into the fourth. The Panthers had a 13-point lead with just 5.5 minutes to go, but that's where it all changed. Milford went on an amazing 18-5 run to close out the fourth, highlighted by key buckets from each of the Hawks captains. The score was tied at 66 heading into OT, and in that 4-minute overtime period, Milford outscored the Panthers 12-7, finishing off a truly magical comeback. There were a lot of heroes in that game for the Hawks. Caden Kelly came within 2 assists of a triple-double. He finished the night with 18 points, 14 rebounds, and 8 assists. Anthony Arcudi, who knocked down 5 3-pointers, including a clutch bucket inside of 3 minutes to play to bring it to a 1-possession game, finished with 28 points for the night. Zach Tamani was held to just 6 points in the first half, but was a force to be reckoned with in the fourth quarter, coming through with not 1 but 2 inside shots that tied the game in the closing seconds. So now the Scarlet Hawks move on to this quarterfinal round, where they will face the number 1 seed in the Division II Central bracket in the Nashoba Chieftains. Nashoba claimed a division title in the Mid-Wach B division this year, finishing at 16-3. They also participated in this year's Clark tournament, where they notched a victory over Mid-Wach before bowing out with a semifinal loss 68-41 to Westboro. Nashoba dominated their league schedule with one glaring exception. Of their 3 regular season losses, 2 of them came against the very team Milford defeated 3 nights ago, the Marlboro Panthers. Both games were close, and they were lower scoring games, but the Panthers were able to win them both, winning 45-40 here in the Nashoba gym and 54-50 over in Marlboro. Looking at the stats, the Chieftains appear to be a stout defensive team. They allowed an average of just 47.7 points per game this year, which is 7 points per game fewer than what the Scarlet Hawks defense allowed. While they may not have quite the same caliber of inside presence that Milford saw in Marlboro's Chris Doherty, the Chieftains do boast solid size all around the floor, and they have a pair of centers in Connor Ogerholm and Alex Jacobs that should keep the Hawks honest in the paint. With every round of the playoffs, the competition gets tougher, but if there's one thing this Milford team has proven in their last 2 games, they never shy away from a challenge. It is the quarterfinal round of the Division II Central bracket, with the number 9 seeded Scarlet Hawks taking on the number 1 seeded Nashoba Chieftains. Tip-off comes your way at 7:30 p.m., and we will have it for you here next, right here on Milford TV. It is a capacity crowd here in the gymnasium at Nashoba Regional High School as we are about to get underway with quarterfinal matchup. This quarterfinal matchup in the Division II Central bracket. Once again, the jungle has come out in force. The student section is rocking here for Milford on the road once again. A tremendous amount of Milford support here in the Nashoba gym. The Chieftains fans here as well. So it is a raucous crowd, and this game is not quite yet underway. But we expect a fantastic matchup here tonight between Milford and Nashoba. Quickly we'll get to the starting fives. For Milford, it is Nate Davila, Anthony Arcudi, Zach Tamani, Caden Kelly, and Alex Masick. And for Nashoba, it is Justin Pierce, Trevor Maniak, Nate Mansour, Andrew Fish, and Connor Ogerholm. As the opening tip gets swatted right to the edge of the playing surface, but Nashoba is able to control, and they will begin on offense here in the opening quarter. Quarterfinal coverage underway. Tim Coet here on the call for Milford TV. And immediately the jungle lets their voices be heard loud and clear. Right now Nashoba taking their time as they dribble around the perimeter. The ball in the hands of Justin Pierce, their captain. He will hoist up the three-point shot with the shot clock winding down. And Pierce gets the bucket to open the game. An opening statement from the Chieftains. Good outside shooting on this team, and again, very good defense. And we'll see what they show defensively here on Milford's opening possession. The Let's Go Milford chant rises up. Good ball movement freeing up Nate Davila from three-point range. His shot no good. The loose ball swatted by Tamani, but ultimately settled down by Nashoba, and the foul is called. And they'll call the foul on Zach Tamani. And so Tamani picks up his first foul within the opening minute of this first quarter. And right back up the floor now for the Chieftains. They rifle the pass inside. Defending well inside was Anthony Arcudi, but the ball deflects out. And Nashoba can reset. They look for Pierce again from outside. He dribbles it back. Tamani out guarding. Now trying to find Ogerholm inside, but the ball is picked off by the Hawks. It's Tamani now. He gets his pocket picked, and now up the floor with just Masick to beat. A nice play in midair by Andrew Fish, but he can't finish. Nashoba out into the near corner now with a fresh shot clock. 6:23 still to go in this first quarter. Another three ball up from Pierce. It's no good. And it's Arcudi with the rebound. Very close quarters here in Nashoba as Tamani goes up for the shot. It's no good, but he will head to the free throw line. The fans shoehorned in here. Not a whole lot of room on the floor outside of the playing surface, so very cozy conditions here in the Nashoba gym. And the fans quiet down for the moment. The Milford fans cheering on Tamani now from the free throw line, hoping to get Milford's first points. And Tamani too strong on the first free throw attempt. Zach had just 6 points in the first half against Marlboro, but he was able to come back and play a key role down the stretch. He ended up with 16 points, tied the game twice in the closing seconds. And Tamani goes 1 for 2 from the line, and it's a 3-1 early score as Milford tries to get the trap off the inbounds, but Nashoba quick passing. They get it up the floor. Now all the way to the basket. No good on the shot for the captain, Nate Mansour. Three captains for Nashoba. Here's Davila unleashing a quick three, and there it is. Davila gets himself on the score sheet, and that immediately pushes Milford in front, 4-3. Milford again putting the pressure on in the backcourt as that ball is kicked as the bounce pass went into the paint. 5 minutes and 43 seconds still to go in the game's opening quarter. Nashoba to inbound underneath their basket. The no-look pass and the quick shot off the inbounds, and it's a miss for Andrew Fish. Now here's Arcudi. He takes the feed, now takes it to the basket. The up and under shot is no good. And Arcudi is called for the foul. Anthony doesn't like it. So Arcudi and Tamani each with fouls here early on in the first quarter. Nashoba with a head of steam up the floor, but the pass towards the corner is too strong. And now Masick sends it back onto the playing surface. Tamani directing traffic, now trying to get around a defender. Tries to hit Arcudi with that bounce pass, but it's picked off. You can see very good size inside for Nashoba, really all around the floor showing very good size. And now the jumper, that's a miss for Ogerholm. Connor Ogerholm, a sophomore, in the starting lineup for the #1 seed. Arcudi dribbling on the perimeter. They get it into the hands of Tamani. Shot clock ticking down to 10 seconds. Here's Davila. He cuts inside, now feeds it back out to Arcudi. With a hand in his face, he tosses up the shot, but it's offline. Still a 4-3 Milford score. It's Mansour ball handling. Getting the pass back out to Justin Pierce. Pierce can't get around Tamani. Now sends the pass to the corner. A couple of steps inside. The two unleashed by Mansour is no good, but the rebound pulled down by Connor Jessen. Now Pierce along with Mansour go back and forth. Mansour bluffs the pass, now out for Pierce from three. He knocks down his second three-pointer of this first quarter. And that gets the Chieftains fans pumped up as we see our first timeout call to the ball game. It comes with 3 minutes and 59 seconds to go in the first quarter. A little bit of back and forth action through these early minutes. The Chieftains able to pull ahead with that three ball, 6-4. This is Nashoba's first game in these Division II Central playoffs. As we mentioned the other night, the only game taking place in the first round was that 9-8 matchup between Milford and Marlboro. And so now the playoffs start in earnest here in the Division II Central. A lot of games on the docket around the bracket tonight. Concord, Carlisle, and Holliston, the 4 and 5 seeds respectively, hitting the court tonight. Also the #2 seed Groton Dunstable hosting Westboro, the #7 seed. And the #3 seed Medway hosts the #6 seed Medfield, a good Tri-Valley League matchup over on the other side of the bracket. So those are your 4 matchups here in the quarterfinal round. And Nashoba and Milford about to get going back out of the timeout. Again, just an absolutely raucous environment here in the Nashoba gym. The fans all on their feet. And Milford sends it back into play as we are past the midway point of this opening quarter. And Arcudi trying to hit Davila with that pass, but it ends up going as a backcourt violation. Milford trying to keep composed in this very emotional environment, playing the #1 seed in the bracket. Now it's Nashoba again, swinging it around into the corner, trying to ride that hot hand of Justin Pierce. They find him. Tamani closes in. Now the bounce pass inside. Good hesitation, but the shot is missed by Connor Jessen, and Caden Kelly gets the rebound. Had 14 rebounds a couple of nights ago, but now Milford loses control of the basketball, but they're able to regain it back on the other end. Turnovers exchanged. Tamani slows the pace just a bit. Again, trying to activate Arcudi. Always good to get Anthony into the offense early on in the first quarter. They pass it down low to Kelly, and now they call Tamani for the travel. Too many steps for Zach inside. And so already we've seen a number of turnovers for Milford through this opening quarter. 2:57 to play. Still a low score at 6-4. As Milford again puts the pressure on in the backcourt, but here's Mansour quickly up the floor. They unleash the three from the corner, off the side of the rim for Fish. And now, Shane Kosket into the game, ball handling. Kelly trying to body up inside. Alex Masick, nice job to keep that ball in Milford's possession. Tamani with the three. Milford has hit a single three-pointer so far here in the first quarter. It's their only made basket from the floor. And again, the look for Pierce from three, this time too short, and Arcudi flies through the air to pull down the board. A fast-moving first quarter, already coming down to 2 minutes to play. Milford down by just 2. Arcudi loses it right in front of the Nashoba bench. And it will stay Milford basketball. So poked out by the Chieftains. Masick comes over to inbound. Gets it to Cosquet, 10 seconds on the shot clock. The Milford fans count it out. Cosquet looking for a play. Here's Tamani. He's going to have to put up the shot to the basket. He gets it up and in. Tamani with the reverse lay-in, a pretty play as that ball deflects right into the waiting hands of Alex Jacobs. And they wave off the basket. So the offensive foul on Nashoba. Tied at 6. 90 seconds to go in the quarter number 1. Cosquet a little trouble handling that pass and lets it go out of play. And you've seen Milford struggling to muscle their way inside. We talked about it right off the open. While there's no Chris Doherty on this team, you can see there is plenty of size all around, so that's going to make things difficult. Good quick hands there for Davila. He gets the steal, leaves it for Cosquet. He runs into his own man, Kelly. Now Davila gets it back from three-point range, no good. Kelly trying to get to that rebound, but the ball ends up out of play. And Nashoba to inbound, 1:11 to play in the first. All the Chieftains' points so far have come courtesy of Justin Pierce on a pair of three-point shots. And looking for Connor Jessen in the corner. Masick gets a hand in front of the pass and deflects it out of play. Mansour sends a long inbounds pass into Jessen. Now out on the perimeter, here's Pierce. Thought about the deep three ball. The shot clock winding down. They settle for the three-point shot from Jack Milieu. And there ends up a scrum for the loose ball. And it'll end up in the possession of the Milford Scarlet Hawks with 43.2 seconds left in the quarter. As you can see, not a seat to be had here in the gymnasium. The Milford fans taking up a good chunk of the bleachers. The Nashoba fans here in good numbers as well, and both fan bases have been emotionally invested since about an hour prior to the opening tip. The fans came early, staked out their spots, and it has been an unbelievable environment. And some good-natured ribbing between the fans in the stands right now. Nashoba operating out of the Mid-Wach B division, just like the Marlboro Panthers that Milford faced a couple of nights ago. Nashoba finishing in first place in the Mid-Wach B. They went 6-2 within their league play, 17-4 overall on the season if you count the 2 games in which Nashoba participated in the Clark tournament up at Clark University in Worcester. Of their 10 home games this season, Nashoba went 9-1. The only loss they suffered here on their home floor was at the hands of Marlboro earlier this season. As we mentioned, the Panthers able to get the better of that rivalry. And out of the timeout, the missed three again for Nashoba. Caden Kelly trying for that quick release, took the long pass deep in the paint, but couldn't quite get the touch. 26 seconds to go. Another three as Nashoba's really attacking from the perimeter. They haven't had a whole lot of success outside of Pierce. And Milford with an opportunity to play for the last shot with the game tied at 6. Final seconds of quarter number 1. Cosquet taking his time, dribbles around. Pierce now gets the ball to Davila. He takes a few steps inside, lets go a floater. It's no good. 3 seconds to go. Pierce's pass gets deflected. Now the shot at the buzzer is no good, and that is it for the first quarter. So a very low scoring first 8 minutes. We saw 2 3-point shots from Justin Pierce on the Nashoba side for Milford. Points from Davila and Tamani, and that is all so far. 6-6. Tied up after 1 quarter. We'll step aside very briefly. You don't want to go anywhere. Coverage of Milford Scarlet Hawks basketball in the MIAA playoffs right here on Milford TV. Milford and Nashoba getting set to begin second quarter action. Tim Coet here on the coverage for Milford TV as we continue to follow the Scarlet Hawks through their playoff run, taking on the Nashoba Chieftains. And Nashoba ended up making a statement to open up this 2016-17 season. They won 7 straight games out of the chute to really take control of their division from the get-go. Here's Kelly off the opening possession. He can't get the shot. Kelly still trying to get his offense rolling here in the first half. Now defending well on the other side of the floor. Another miss from Jessen. And now a quick outlet pass to Davila. Passed up the 3, tries to take it to the basket. The shot goes off the backboard, and the rebound is collected by Pierce. On the run, tries to hit Mansour with the pass, but the ball ends up going off into the Milford bench. And right now, both fan bases living and dying by every individual play out on the floor. Quite an environment, no doubt. Both of these teams are feeding off of their respective fans. Still in the opening minute of this second quarter, Tamani gets it to Kelly. He'll take the shot right from the free throw line, but it's a little short. Brendan White, the sophomore, checks into the game, can't quite get that rebound. And now here's Mansour back up the floor for the Chieftains. He and Pierce go back and forth deep out on the perimeter as we have 60 seconds gone here in the second quarter. Now they slide it into the corner. Off the side of the rim on the 3 from Jessen. And the foul was called. They call it on Shane Cosquet. And that will allow Jessen to go to the line. It's the first Chieftains trip to the free throw line. Jessen clean with his first attempt, and that pushes Nashoba back in front, 7-6. One more free throw to go. And in and out with the second. The ball deflected right to the edge of play, but Nashoba is able to control it. And they reset with the 1-point lead. Cosquet going for the turnover. But Nashoba stays with it. The deep ball by Pierce. He has not been afraid to launch them here in the first half. He's made 2, also missed a couple. Tamani has the ball knocked loose, loose again. Arcudi had it, now it rolls all the way out to midcourt where Kelly is there. Now Tamani makes one defender miss, goes to the basket, but a block by Oberholm. And now Nashoba flies in for 2 points. Count them for Andrew Fish. Wild back and forth action. And Nashoba right now with a 9-6 lead with just under 6 minutes to play in the half. Another turnover from Milford. The ball loose on the floor. Nashoba again able to recover. Here's Pierce. He cuts inside, tries to split 3 defenders, and they're going to call the foul on the Scarlet Hawks, and Coach Seaver very upset with the call on the sidelines. They call it on Caden Kelly. It's his first foul. And Coach Seaver continuing to plead his case with the officiating crew as Pierce will now shoot free throws. It's another 3-man officiating crew just like we saw in the first round. Pierce now up to 7 points in the half as the Chieftains pull themselves into double digits, up 10-6 the second free throw release, and it's good. And so Milford now needing to respond. They've yet to score here. With 5.5 minutes to go in the half, as Brendan White tries to go up for the shot, but he gets blocked. A no-look pass into Ogerholm, sends it back out on the perimeter. They continue to feed it to Pierce. Now into the opposite corner, driving baseline. Mansour jumps. The jump shot for two, no good. Milford looking for points. Ticking under 5 minutes to play in this first half. Anthony Arcudi still looking for his first points of the night. Meanwhile, another foul called. Connor Ogerholm called for his second foul. Milford lobs the inbounds pass out. Masick finds it, gets it to his point guard. Masick thought about the three, had plenty of space, instead sends it back out to Arcudi. The jump shot for two, no good. Masick and Arcudi go after the rebound. Masick secures it. Now here's Cosquet to the basket, and sorely needed points for the Scarlet Hawks as Shane Cosquet gets the first Milford points of the second quarter, brings the score to 11-8 as another timeout is called for. We take a look at some of the previous playoff experience for the Nashoba Chieftains. They have plenty of it in recent seasons. They've made the postseason in each of the previous 4 years, so 5 seasons in a row. This school has made it into the MIAA tournament. Last season was their best playoff run they've had out of the previous 4 years. They were the number 4 seed in the D2 Central bracket, finishing the season at 15-5. They received a bye through the first round before winning in the quarterfinals against number 3 seeded Medway. It was a 54-52 win, making it to the semifinals where they ultimately bowed out to the number 1 seed Concord Carlisle, 52-44. Concord Carlisle has been Nashoba's playoff demise in each of the previous 2 seasons. If you're looking for previous matchups between these two teams, it has been quite a long time. The only matchup I could find in the records online was part of the 2008-2009 season. The two teams met up here in Nashoba on February 11th of 2009, and it ended up going as a 65-50 win for the Scarlet Hawks. It's 11-8. The score here with Nashoba in front, back out of the timeout, 4:20 to play in the first half. Another 3-ball from the corner is missed by Andrew Fish, but Nashoba able to get the putback. Alex Jacobs gets on the score sheet, and it's a 13-8 Nashoba lead. Cosquet looking for help. Mesa comes out, now the bounce entry to Anthony Arcudi, who continues to struggle with his shooting here in the first half. And Nashoba taking it all the way to the rack on the other side, but Trevor Maniak couldn't finish. The ball loose, last touched by Nashoba. We mentioned 3 captains on this Nashoba squad. Trevor Maniak, one of them. Justin Pierce and Nate Mansour make up the trio of captains for the Chieftains. .336 to go in a very fast-moving first half. Can Tamani get it going? He dishes it to Cosquet. Trying to spread out this tough Nashoba defense as Kelly can't elevate the shot. Arcudi defending the pass well, but Nashoba able to keep it in their possession. And now it's the student section of Milford calling for a defensive stand here from Milford, not wanting to see this deficit grow any further. It's a 5-point Chieftains lead as we tick down to 3 minutes to play in the half. Pierce dribbling against Arcudi, can't get around him, but is able to get the pass out to Mansour. The high arcing 3 is off the mark. And now Cosquet struggling with the dribble. Gets the pass away to Zach Tamani. He goes baseline, finds Masick again. Alex looked like he had space for the three, didn't want to release. And now Cosquet gets stripped on the way up, wanted the foul, didn't get it called, and Pierce with 2 more points on the other end of the floor as Nashoba starts to get a little separation. It's up to a 7-point lead. Now the foul on the other end of the floor. It looked like they called the foul on Trevor Moniak. That's his first foul of the half. Quick bounce pass into Masick, but guarded very closely. Great defense shown by the sophomore Connor Ogerholm. Now Pierce taking it aggressively up in transition, misses the point-blank layup, and Kelly gets another defensive rebound. Good behind-the-back dribble that time for Cosquet. Now Tamani, the feed into Kelly, misses the layup, gets it back outside. Masick back out for Davila, and he gets the shot. They count it as a 2. They say Davila's foot was on the line, but Milford will take it. It's back down to a 5-point deficit with 1:39 to play in the half. And they call the foul. They call the foul on Nashoba, going against Alex Jacobs. And so Milford will inbound with 92 seconds remaining in the half. Here's Tamani as Moniak comes out defensively. Arcudi getting harassed by Nate Mansour. Forced to send it back to Tamani. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Tamani trying to cut inside, can't get the bank off the glass. And Nashoba controls the rebound. Moniak, the long pass to Mansour. And back out to Pierce as we're about to see the final minute of the first half unfold. A 5-point Chieftains lead. Here's Pierce driving baseline, kicks it to his big man. Now the no-look bounce pass doesn't find its way to Moniak. Instead, Kelly intercepts. 43 seconds left in the half. Here's Kelly trying to body up, sends a tough contested shot up and over Alex Jacobs, but it's no good. Kelly's had a tough first half. The matchups just don't get any easier the deeper you go in the playoffs down low. 20 seconds left in the half, 12 seconds left on the shot clock. Pierce guarded by Davila. They find Moniak, he shoots the 3 off the rim, and 10 seconds left. Can Milford get one more shot away before we reach halftime with a 5-point deficit? Here's Tamani, gets it to Davila, and before the final seconds can tick down, play is stopped as the foul is called. The clock stopped with 2.5 seconds left. And it looks like we'll have a timeout on the floor. They call the foul against Justin Pierce for Nashoba, his first foul of the half, and the teams will talk it over here. Milford will have a chance to inbound with just 2.5 seconds to go. We'll step away very briefly and bring you the conclusion of the half next here on Milford TV. Milford retakes the floor with Davila, Arcudi, Tamani, Kelly, and Masick. Seeing if they can make something happen here in the final 2.5 seconds. When Milford broke for the half against Marlboro a few nights ago, it was a 37-29 score, a much narrower score here through 2 quarters of play. Here's Tamani, a quick release. Kelly trying to put it back at the buzzer, just cannot get it in, and that is how the first half comes to an end. Milford had a chance. Tamani's 3-ball offline Kelly trying to tip it in just as he did at the half against Marlboro, but not the same luck this time. So Milford will head into the locker room with a manageable deficit, just a 15-10 score. Unbelievable points at a premium here in the quarterfinal round of these MIAA playoffs. Again, 15-10. It is the Nashoba lead over the Milford Scarlet Hawks. We will take a break for halftime. If you're enjoying our live streaming coverage of the game tonight, you definitely do not want to go anywhere. We have much, much more to come. Second half action will come your way in just a few short moments here on Milford TV. Once again, we welcome you inside the gymnasium at Nashoba Regional High School in Bolton. It is time for second half action between the Milford Scarlet Hawks, the number 9 seeded Scarlet Hawks, and the number 1 seeded Nashoba Chieftains. Second half action in the Division II Central quarterfinal matchup. It is a 15-10 score. That's right, your eyes do not deceive you. Just a 15-10 score midway through this game. Offense has been hard to come by. Your leading scorer overall in this game at the half is Justin Pierce for Nashoba with 10 points. The next highest point total on the Nashoba team is 2. Alex Jacobs with 2, Andrew Fish with 2, and Connor Jessen with 1. On the Milford side, DeVille is your leading scorer with 5, Shane Kosket with 2, and Zach Tamani with 3. That is it. And so with points hard to come by, it is Nashoba who controls the ball as the second half is now underway. Tim Coed happy to bring you this playoff coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. A near turnover for Milford, but Nashoba able to hold on. But a missed 3 out on the wing, and now here's Milford. Tamani up the floor, leaves it behind for Davila. Now the bounce pass into Kelly, and finally Caden Kelly able to get an inside bucket. That's his first points of the night. Had a tough time with the active, aggressive defense of Nashoba in the first half. The Chieftains, a couple of looks at point-blank range, a second rebound, and now finally the foul is called for. Ocherholm continuing to plug away underneath the basket. Milford thought it was clean defense. They call the foul on Tamani. He picked up an early foul in the first quarter, but that's just his second. And a fresh shot clock as now Pierce tries to drive in the lane, and another foul called, and this one might go against Tamani as well. And indeed, so Tamani picks up 2 immediate fouls in the opening minute of the second half, and Zach will head to the bench here. And meanwhile, Andrew Fish puts it in for the first bucket of the second half. So an ominous start here for Milford as their scoring leader in the regular season is forced to the bench with foul trouble. The rest of the Scarlet Hawks offense is going to have to pick up the slack. Kelly misses the shot that time down the floor. 6:43 still to go in the third quarter. As they swing it around to Maniac. Good bounce pass inside to Ocherholm, hesitates. His first shot is a miss, and Kosket able to save it from going out of play and guides it ahead. Anthony Arcudi discarding the undershirt here in the second half. It is a warm gym here with all the bodies. Here's Kosket. He drives all the way to the basket, tries to get the high bank off the glass. No good. Mansour and Pierce back and forth on the perimeter. Pierce floats it up and in, and they will wave off the basket. The charge called. The offensive foul as Caden Kelly makes the defensive stand underneath the basket. The Milford fans love it. The Nashoba fans hate it. And Masick into Kosket. A 5-point margin with 6 minutes remaining in the third. Masick gets his pocket picked, and Mansour, good hands, able to secure the turnover. Now tries to take it all the way. A late dish pass out to Fish, but ultimately Milford able to recover. Milford needing to go on a run, but instead another turnover. We've seen more turnovers than points so far now into the third quarter. Another blocking foul called, that one on Shane Kosket. He picks up his second foul. And this time it sends Nashoba to the line. And Mansour from the line misses his first. Mansour off the score sheet to this point in the game and misses both free throws. Kelly gets the rebound, so a missed opportunity from the line. Now a long outlet pass finds Arcudi, gets a little bit of space and drives inside for 2 points. That's the first 2 points of the night for Anthony Arcudi, who went off for 26 3 nights ago. Now gets a great block. Nashoba able to hold on to it, but they missed the bucket. Now here's Milford the other way. Davila too strong on the three-pointer. 5 minutes to play in the third quarter, down to a 17-14 score. A one-possession game as that pass eludes the grasp of Nashoba, drifts off past their bench. And a timeout is called for as Tamani and Arcudi collide heading into the timeout. All kinds of pumped up over there on the Milford side. A 17-14 score, just a 3-point lead for Nashoba as the playoff atmosphere is at its absolute best here in Nashoba. Taking a look at some of the side-by-side comparisons between these two teams. As we mentioned, Nashoba technically 8-1 in their home record here in the Nashoba gym, with that 9th technical home win coming in the Clark tournament. So 8-1 here in the Nashoba gym. Milford was 4-6 on the road. That 4th win coming 3 nights ago in Marlboro. The points for between these two teams very similar. Nashoba averaging 55.6 points per game, Milford 56.2. But it's the defenses where Nashoba has the edge, allowing an average of 47.7 points per game to Milford's 54.4. Winning streaks for these two teams over the course of the regular season. As we mentioned, a 7-gamer to open the season for Nashoba. They also had a 5-game winning streak in the middle of the season. Milford, their longest winning streak was 4, and Nashoba never lost consecutive games throughout the regular season. Back out of the timeout, here's Arcudi, takes it to the rack and gets 2 and cuts it to a 1-point game. Arcudi starting to heat up here in the third quarter, has 4 quick points. And now Nashoba up the floor with 4:34 to go. Here's Pierce from 3, and he regains his stroke. Had 2 3-pointers early in the first half. That's his first one here in the second half. And it quiets the Milford fans momentarily. Now a 20-16 score. Kosket looking to answer. He goes inside aggressively. It looked good, but just didn't land for Kosket. Now the baseline drive to the basket. Kelly with good positioning. The ball goes out of play, and they will award it to the Scarlet Hawks. Midway through this third quarter as Kosket lets that ball roll a bit to preserve some clock. Asic out on the perimeter for Davila. Tamani still a spectator with those 3 fouls. The ball up for grabs. Kosket gets it back, and Kosket gets fouled. They call it on the captain, Trevor Moniak. He disagrees with the call. And it looks like Tamani will come back into the game. Moniak, his second foul. Nashoba with 2 fouls so far here in the half. Milford with 3. That pass just barely making it into the hands of Arcudi. He runs into a pile. And they call the foul. They call it on Connor Ogerholm. And that's Ogerholm's 3rd foul. That forces the sophomore to the bench, replaced by Alex Jacobs. So key players with 3 fouls on both sides. That ball trying to get to Masick. It never finds him. He thought it was going to go out of play, pulled the hands back, but Nashoba keeps it out on the court. 3:23 to play in the half. Here's Pierce now. Can't get around Masick. They leave it. A wide open shot from 3. No good for Jessen. But he gets it back and is able to lay it in. The Nashoba fans back on their feet as it's up to a 6-point lead. And Tamani gets rejected as he went up for the layup. It's Jessen on the defensive end making the play. And more frustration for Tamani. Foul trouble and tough getting anything going offensively. Zach still sitting on just 3 points. Trying to lob the inbounds out to Davila, but the pass intercepted. Now here's Maniac to the basket. It rattles through. Trevor Maniac gets his first points of the third quarter. Milford making a run in the early minutes, but Nashoba countering, and it's up to a 24-16 lead for the Chieftains as the timeout is called with 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go. So Milford, with some things to talk over with their coaching staff, will step aside for the timeout. More playoff coverage in just moments here on Milford TV. The Milford cheerleaders keeping the Milford fans pumped up during that timeout. Milford about to send the ball back in play with 2:45 to go in the third quarter. Milford looking to counter once again, trailing by 8. It's Tamani handing off to Anthony Arcudi, the two captains going back and forth as Arcudi has it stolen by Pierce. Justin Pierce, as Nashoba has come through with some key turnovers to turn things around. They miss an open look there by Andrew Fish. Tamani feeding it down low to Kelly against Jacobs. He goes up with the right hand but can't finish. And now here's Maniac ahead of the D. Tries to lay it in and can't get it to go. But Pierce is there for the rebound and he gets fouled under the basket. And the foul will be on Caden Kelly. Caden whistled for his second foul, and Justin Pierce a chance to make it a double-digit lead if he can knock down both free throws. One more shot to go. Pierce goes 1 for 2, so it's a 9-point lead for the Chieftains, under 2 minutes to go in the third. Kelly sees a lane to the basket, it closes. Gets it back to Masick. Masick, tough pass trying to find Kelly, and Milford struggling with turnovers mightily in this third quarter. We haven't seen much perimeter work from Milford here in the third quarter. They've been trying to attack the basket, but with little success. They were able to get an early flurry, a couple of buckets from Arcudi and one from Kelly. But just 6 points in all so far here in the third quarter. And Mansour missing from the line, but despite a trio of Milford players underneath the basket, it's Fish who's able to get the putback. (27-16). It's the largest lead we've seen tonight at 11 points. And down on the Milford side of the floor, the foul called against Nate Mansour. Milford gets it into Cosquet. Under 90 seconds to play in the quarter. Tamani lets it fly. No good on the outside shot. And with their largest lead of the night, the Chieftains looking to continue to push the issue. Pierce dribbles it outside. Two defenders close in. It leaves the shot open from the corner. No good for Fish. Rebound collected by Milford. Under a minute to play in the third. Shane in a tough position ends up turning it over. Now back defensively. Pierce calling out the play. Gets the pass back for Mansour. Now gives it. And Nate Mansour, 37 seconds to go. They feed it to Pierce. And Pierce a chance for the three-point play. Pierce has gotten a lot of grief from the Milford fans all night long, but he has put this team on his shoulders. He's up to 6 points here in the third quarter, 16 for the game, and you can make it 17 with that free throw. And Milford now facing a 14-point deficit in the closing seconds of the third. And Anthony Arcudi loses it inside, and this is becoming a third quarter to forget for the Scarlet Hawks. Turnover is a major problem, and Nashoba right now content to play for the final shot as we're about to see the final 10 seconds of the third quarter. Mansour gets a little space from Davila, puts up the jumper. And with time expiring, the shot heaved up by Milford, it's no good. And a tough stretch in the third quarter for the Scarlet Hawks. They now face a 32-16 deficit with just 8 minutes to play. So facing a larger deficit than what they faced heading into the fourth quarter 3 nights ago. It was a 12-point margin against Marlboro as they headed into the fourth quarter, but of course they were able to overcome that deficit a little bit bigger tonight, but we'll see if they can bring that fourth quarter magic again. The fourth quarter in this D2 Central matchup will start next here on Milford TV. It has been an unbelievable playoff atmosphere since before this game even began, but we enter the fourth quarter with Milford once again in search of a comeback. Zach Tamani trying to force the action down low, and he will head to the free throw line. Zach Tamani, who was amongst the league leading scorers in the Hockomock League through the 20-game regular season, has had a very difficult time, like most of these Scarlet Hawks, generating offense against this very tough Nashoba defense. And Tamani's first free throw attempt is no good. 15.9 points per game average in the regular season for Zach Tamani. But he has just 3 points. He has not scored yet in the second half. And he misses, but that ball gets tipped in. And that looked like a Nashoba hand that tipped that ball in, so doing Milford a favor. And those points may get credited to Tamani. It's unclear, but it's a 32-18 score now as this ball comes loose under the basket. Davila comes up with it. Can Milford start to string some baskets together? They call the reach-in foul against Nashoba. Looks like they call it against Mansour. They do indeed. Mansour just his second foul. The deficit at 14 for Milford, 7:25 to play. Tamani again goes up and under. Can't find the touch that time. Pierce outside, the look from three. Count it for Fish. Nine points now for Andrew Fish as Tamani gets double teamed. It results in the turnover. The pass to Pierce was a little too hot to handle, but he keeps it in play. But Kelly, good active hands. He settles it. Back in the hands of Tamani. Sets the offense. Gets it back, bounce entry to Kelly. And he gets it to bank in for two and gets the foul. Kelly with just his second bucket. And they call the foul on Ogerholm. He had to sit through most of the third quarter with 3 fouls, now picks up his 4th, and it's right back to the bench for the sophomore. The Chieftains lead at 15. Kelly trying to finish off the three-point play. Caden was excellent from the free throw line in the fourth quarter against Marlboro. Comes through with the and one. The deficit down to 14. Pierce losing that momentarily, but recovers. Guarded by Cosquet. Jacobs comes out to set the screen, but Cosquet stays close. Now they get it back to Jacobs. He's harassed by Davila. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Here's Pierce now. He finds his man under the basket, and Jessen picks up the bucket. The defense losing track of Jessen. He sneaks in for an easy 2. It was a good defensive stand for Milford, but ultimately the Chieftains get the points. And the foul called, stopping the clock with 5:57 to go. It's back to the free throw line for Caden Kelly. Alex Jacobs now with his 3rd foul. Caden drains the shot. Up to 6 points. Just under 6 minutes remain in this playoff basketball game. And Kelly misses the second shot. Keeps it at 37-22. Pierce sends it all the way back out to Jessen, now in the hands of Trevor Moniak. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Shane Cosquet pestering Moniak defensively, but hit the elbow of Maniac, and he gets called for the foul. 2 fouls for Shane. The senior guard at the line with the Milford fans in full throat, but Trevor Moniak comes through with the first free throw. Moniak misses the second. Kelly gets the rebound. Down by 16, Milford needs to get something going soon. Cosquet able to recover after bobbling that pass. Now they'll call the foul on Caden Kelly. Jacobs hits the deck. And all Coach Sieber can do is shake his head. Looked like a bit of a flop out of Nashoba, but they get the call. And every turnover crucial at this point in the game. Milford's had just too many of them over the course of the night. Here's Jessen, dribbles behind the back, but then loses control. Tamani's there to steal it. Tamani trying to get around Pierce. Thought he'd get the call as he went to the basket. He puts his arms in the air. And Milford's starting to wonder what they have to do to get a whistle in their favor here down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Heavy contact, but no call. And now the lob pass out to Jacobs and back into the hands of Pierce, who's been the best scorer on the floor here tonight. And another foul against the Hawks as it's Arcudi getting called for his third. It sends Pierce to the line, 4:49 to play. A chance to build on a 16-point lead. And Pierce can't get it, but the ball tipped to the edge of the playing surface, and it's reeled in by the Chieftains. Now it's Pierce from 3 off the back of the rim. The ball swatted by the Chieftains, but right into the hands of Arcudi. Arcudi gets fouled on the floor. But he will go to the line. Fouls now 9 apiece. Arcudi visibly frustrated. Again, you get to this point where it's a hard situation for Milford to manage their emotions. Arcudi cannot make the free throw. And it stays 38-22 with just over 4.5 minutes to play. And they call the technical foul on Anthony Arcudi. So there you have it. Now the explanation being given to head coach Paul Seaver. And Arcudi will take a seat on the bench. It's been a frustrating environment all night long for Milford. This defense for Nashoba just blanketing the Scarlet Hawks from the very first quarter. And for a team that really feeds off of their own momentum over the course of the game, they've really never been able to generate any consistent momentum. And the frustration's really showing through here in the fourth quarter as Pierce shoots the technical foul shots, nails them both. So it's a 17-point lead with 4.5 minutes to play, and gut check time for the Scarlet Hawks. Can they make a dramatic run? We saw the Lady Hawks nearly erase a lead of this size in the closing minutes of the fourth quarter in Marlboro. And the whistle at midcourt, and now it's the Chieftains that show a bit of frustration, and it feels like the officials in this game really struggling to keep both sides under control. The three of them converge to talk things over as the clock is stopped at 4 minutes and 17 seconds. So they adjust the scoreboard now. It's a 40-22 score with 4:17 to play. Milford, a very quick chat with their coach, right back out on the floor with Tamani, Masick, Kosket, Davila, and Kelly. And Nashoba still on the sidelines. Their head coach, Danny Ortiz, going over strategy here to maintain this lead in the closing minutes. Nashoba looking to get back to the D2 Central semifinals for the second straight season. The winner of this game here tonight would face the winner of number 4 Concord Carlisle versus number 5 Holliston. So the opportunity there perhaps for Milford to face their playoff foe from a season ago, Holliston, that eliminated them from playoff contention, but that's far from the forefront of Milford's minds right now, just trying to find a way to chip into this lead with a little over 4 minutes left. Pierce out of control to the basket, nearly got the finish, but the ball rims out, ends up in the hands of Milford. Here's Tamani. He drives baseline, feeds a tough pass to Masick. And the foul called on Nashoba. So Masick will go to the line as Trevor Moniak was called for his third foul. And Milford can't afford to miss any of these free throw opportunities through the remainder of the game. And unfortunately, Masick missing the first. Masick with no points in this game, but of course the defensive specialist in this unit. And Alex Masick with 2 misses from the free throw line. Milford has missed 5 free throws here in the fourth quarter. 2 for 7 shooting free throws here in the fourth. Not going to help your case to make a big comeback. And Milford selling out on defense right now. Cosquet trying for the steal, but comes up empty. And a bit of clock management as we get into these late stages of the game for the Chieftains. Now Mansour, he drives inside, leaves it out on the perimeter. And a dagger 3 knocked down by Connor Jessen. He has 5 points in this fourth quarter. And it's a 21-point lead now for the Chieftains as Davila hoists up the shot off the side of the rim, and a quick rebound gobbled up by Mansour. Nate Mansour able to get around Tamani. And this gym about as quiet as it's been all game. It was a very close, heavily contested first half, just a 5-point lead for Nashoba at halftime. Milford was able to get 6 quick points early on in the third quarter, cutting it to a 1-possession game. But it has really been all Nashoba since then. .254 to play. Here's Pierce against Cosquet, now gets around Kelly. Doesn't finish the shot, Kelly gets another rebound. Anthony Arcudi back out on the floor after the technical. And the ball ends up out of play. They award Nashoba possession. They'll head back up the floor with just 2:42 to go. The Milford fans trying to stay in it. They've all stayed right from beginning to end. But starting to feel as though this may be the final stop on the postseason tour for the Milford Scarlet Hawks, unless they can mount a comeback that would be twice as memorable as the one they pulled off in Marlboro back on Monday night. Milford was down by as many as 13 points with 5 minutes to go in that game before they turned on the comeback magic. But trailing by 21 with less than 2.5 minutes to play here in the Nashoba gym. Tamani trying to kick it back out, but it's another turnover as Connor Jessen comes away with it. And Nashoba really taking their time as they'll take this clock under 2 minutes to go, and the Chieftain fans start roaring, sensing that their playoffs will move on beyond the night here tonight. This is the last round of home court games. It will move to neutral site games from here on. The rest of this D2 Central bracket will play out at WPI for the semifinals and the finals. Cosquet hoists up a 3. It's no good. Arcudi beaten to the rebound. And we go 90 seconds to play, and now for the first time we start to see a few of the Scarlet Hawks fans start to head toward the exits. The student section sending out a supportive chant as the timeout is called on the floor. 1 minute and 28 seconds remain in the fourth quarter. It's a 45-22 score. And you start to look at this roster for the Scarlet Hawks, and you look at the class of seniors for the Scarlet Hawks team. Nate Davila, Anthony Arcudi, Mike Traficante, who due to a concussion has been mostly a spectator through the second half of the season. Alex Masick, and of course Zach Tamani. We talked about the outstanding work of the seniors for the Milford girls basketball team a couple of nights ago, and all the work and all the dedication to that girls basketball program. Well, this core of seniors for this Scarlet Hawks boys basketball team has been something to watch over the last few seasons. Zach Tamani playing a key role for this team since his sophomore season. Anthony Arcudi went from an energy presence off the bench early on last season for the team to a key starter down the stretch last season, has started in every game this year. Alex Masick, as we've mentioned, one of the key defensive players in really all of the Hockomock League this season, as Moniak gets another layup to further increase this Nashoba score. And Nate Davila with the ball in his hands right now. How many key three-point buckets have we seen off the bench from Nate Davila over the course of this past season? Really electrifying the home crowd back in Milford throughout this regular season campaign. It's a great group of seniors, but it looks like their high school career is about to end in the next minute and 8 seconds. A 47-22 lead for the Chieftains as we see another free throw miss. The free throws have just not been there for Milford all night long, but especially here in this fourth quarter. A team that scored 78 points in an overtime game back on Monday night. Frustrated from start to finish, still with just 22 points to their credit as we are about to go under a minute to play in the fourth quarter. Coach Ortiz sending some of his second unit players out onto the court in these final stages. That was Shane Reginani missing on the layup. Davila almost loses the dribble, gets it back, and the whistle stops the clock with 45.7 seconds to go. And the Chieftains to inbound, continuing to dribble down the clock. 40 seconds to play now. As Tamani goes for the steal. Tamani called for the foul. That's the fourth foul on Tamani. As the first free throw bounces home for John McNulty. McNulty, a junior. The second free throw rims out. Davila picks it up. Cosquet pushes it up the floor to his senior captain, Zach Tamani. The student section in it to the very end as Arcudi misses on the three. Alex Masick gets the rebound, swings a long pass back to Arcudi. He takes it to the basket and gets two, and that might be the final bucket of the season for the Scarlet Hawks. 10 seconds to go. No fouls as they heave the pass up the floor right into our broadcast setup, just off the playing surface. That stops the clock with 6 seconds to go, so Milford will inbound the ball one final time. Cosquet rolls it out to Tamani. He picks it up, 5 seconds left. Zach up the floor, takes a dribble, puts up the shot, and misses it at the buzzer. And that is that. 48-24 is the final score. Nashoba gaining the separation in the third quarter, and they did not look back. It was just a tough offensive night from start to finish for the Scarlet Hawks, and their 2016-17 season comes to an end here tonight in Bolton. But again, it's hard to feel too down after the exciting performance Milford provided all season long, and especially that amazing playoff victory, that comeback win a few nights ago in Marlboro. It's sad to see it come to an end tonight, but what a season it was for Milford High School basketball. Two outstanding programs for the Milford boys and girls teams. They gave a lot of enjoyment to these fans over the course of the season. 2 playoff runs out of both programs. And these Milford fans and these Milford players certainly have a lot to be proud of. So again, we salute the senior class for this Milford Scarlet Hawks boys team playing in their final game here tonight. And a tough way to see it come to a close, a 48-24 loss. And a huge thank you also to our Milford TV crew on hand for the game tonight. Once again, our director, Rob O'Keefe, our camera operators, Mike Sperling, Malcolm Zale, and Robert Arujo. And we also want to thank Nashoba High School for their hospitality, allowing us into their gym for the coverage here tonight. I am Tim Coet. That final score one final time as we bring the winter sports season to a close. Milford eliminated from the playoffs as they lose to Nashoba by a final score of 48-24. This has been a presentation of Scarlet Hawks Athletics here on Milford TV. We'll see you in the spring, everybody.